Alcoholic Beverage Control Board license fees for Houston County. I know this is the second time that Commissioner Adams and Commissioner Ivy have looked at this, and just as a reminder, we can't change these fees, nor can we not approve it, if that makes sense. Our only choice here is to approve it. So any questions about that?
No, sir.
Any objection to placing this item on the agenda?
No objection.
Okay. Item number 2 is a request to approve temporary polling place for the town of Cottonwood. Is the judge here?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't see. Yeah. Come up and talk about that.
Good morning, gentlemen. As you were aware, there was a tragic tornado in our southernmost town of Cottonwood earlier this year that caused a lot of damage in that area. Commissioner Adams, that's your territory, so you're acutely aware of the damage that was caused, and just amazing resilience of the people in that community for having worked through those consequences of the storm. One of the consequences of the storm was the damage to the community center, the community room, where we would hold all state and federal elections, county, state, and federal elections. After talking with the folks in Cottonwood and assessing it ourselves, we've determined that it's not, and we provided you pictures of the damage to the building. Is quite extensive, that it's impossible for us to conduct the election there. You gentlemen have the authority to set the locations of precincts and the boundaries of those precincts. And so I come to you and ask for a change of that location because of the circumstances we're in. This is a temporary, we categorize as an emergency move. We would not make a move like this under normal circumstances without probably a year's lead time, so that we can ensure that the public's aware of that change. Obviously, we were not given that opportunity in this case. We reached out to Calvary Baptist Church, which is just at the other end of Metcalf Street. This precinct is, the location is at the south end of Metcalf Street. Calvary Baptist Church is at the north end of Metcalf Street, approximately a mile away. The folks have been super gracious there. Tommy White is the interim pastor there. Kenny Jackson is the interim minister of music there, who is Kathy Jackson's husband, who was longtime supervisor in the tag department for probate. I reached out to them. They discussed this with their deacon body and quickly came back and authorized our use of that facility. Angie and her team have been there, and we've determined that it meets all the minimum standards for disability access and ingress and egress. So we think it's appropriate to use this location on a temporary basis. So my request would be that you approve that move on a temporary basis. We, parenthetically, I don't see a scenario. This will be the first in my long time of working in elections that we're not likely to have a runoff. I don't know that there's a scenario where we could have a runoff. So this is probably just for the primary on March the 5th. We anticipate some permanent, or we hope for some permanent resolution by November.
Yeah. And I know y'all usually put up signs like temporarily.
Angie and I have already met this morning and discussed placement of those signs. We're going to try to have those out next week, so they'll be well in advance. The clock's ticking. We're now just 3.5 weeks or so away.
That's amazing. We're getting that close.
Yeah. So hopefully next week we'll have those signage out there. We've reached out to the town of Cottonwood and asked them to communicate that to their citizens. I'm going to ask Commissioner Adams to use his avenues of communication to reach the citizens in his district. So we're gonna publish that in the newspaper. We'll do all those things required by law and beyond to ensure that the citizens are aware. And there will be signs on election day that will redirect them if they somehow didn't weren't aware of it, it'll redirect them just on the same street, just at the other end of the road.
Any questions, comments? All right, any objection to placing this item on the agenda?
No objection.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Judge. Item number 3 is a request to approve capital replacement fund budget amendment for fire suppression tank on State Line Road. Mr. Dixon.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hope everybody's doing well this morning. I come with a request. We had a leak at the fire suppression tank on the main outlet coming out of the tank that feeds McLean for their fire suppression. We had to get a Blankenship contractors to fix that, and it was at a cost of $14,000. We're not capable of fixing a 12 or 14-inch outlet in-house, so we had to get them to fix it because it was just steadily, the tank was leaking down and pumping back up. So we couldn't avoid having to do that. So I'm requesting if we could use the emergency fund to pay this invoice to Blankenship for that repair.
Okay. Any questions on this item? I know we had talked, and this is not necessarily on this specific item, but about the sewer system out there at State Line Road, so a different subject. Where are we on that? I know we have some work, we have to build a building down there.
Yes, sir, with the wastewater treatment.
Yes.
I met with Terry Richards.
Yeah.
It was last week. I met with him and we discussed what he needs as far as a temporary building and the kind of the pump out line, the station that he's wanting to install there. We had talked with Mr. Brandon with Poly Engineering about it. And I think we have a plan. I do need to reach out to Mr. Brandon and let him know what me and Mr. Richards discussed. What I mean, I think we have a good plan of what we're gonna do there.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't think it's gonna be near as expensive as we first thought.
Okay, that's good.
Anyway, I think-
It's usually the opposite.
Yeah, it's usually the opposite. So hopefully that's the way that will go.
All right. Thank you.
So
Thank you, Tommy. Any objection to placing this item on the agenda?
No objection.
Item number 4 is a request to approve resolution to authorize allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds for eligible stormwater projects. Mr. Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you gentlemen know, we're rapidly approaching the deadline for getting funds committed out of the ARPA fund balance. And these are authorized eligible uses for the enumerated uses portion of that ARPA funds. And this basically, if all projects that we have currently underway are deemed eligible and the documentation is executed by the end of this calendar year, this is the remaining portion of the funds that we would like to have allocated to an eligible use project, which is the stormwater projects in the county.
And originally, stormwater was not an eligible use. They added that much later.
Yes, that is correct.
So that's going to help us out tremendously, giving us another avenue to utilize these funds in a productive manner. Any questions on this item, Commissioner Adams?
Is any of this, and I know you said this is pretty much tapping out the funds, or any of this, that's all.
It wasn't.
Okay. Thank you. That can be guided towards Cottonwood or anything they got going on there, the buildings, their senior citizen building or the fire station? We ain't qualify?
Unfortunately, that won't qualify because it's got to be for a specific use, eligible wastewater treatment and stormwater. But there is, the next item on the agenda is for a Cottonwood water infrastructure project that they have underway.
Okay. Well, anything you find extra, they need it.
I understand.
Any other,
Chairman.
yes, any other questions?
No.
Any objection to placing this item on the agenda for Monday?
No objection.
Okay. Item number 5 is a request to approve resolution to authorize allocation of American Rescue Plan Act funds for eligible water infrastructure project and delegate authority to enter into a subaward with the town of Cottonwood. Mr. Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, sir. This is one of the sort of a pre-award item that we have received approvals from our third-party contracting, that this would be deemed to be an eligible project to be used for ARPA funds. And this is one of the last 3 that we have still outstanding.
We had talked, or I had mentioned this maybe a month ago, about the possibility that we would have to put a kind of a hard deadline to encourage some of these towns to kind of hurry up. But I think there's really only one town left, and they have submitted a project, but it was deemed ineligible. They're going back and reworking some things, and we expect that they will resubmit pretty soon. So I think we're going to be okay, and there's not going to be any need to do that. So all the money that we've sort of earmarked for the towns in Houston County, I think they're going to be able to use all their funds. So that's good.
Yes, sir.
Any questions on this item?
No question.
Any objection to placing this item on the agenda for Monday?
No objection.
Okay. Item number 6 is a request to approve resolution allocating additional American Rescue Plan Act revenue replacement funds for window replacement and envelope sealing at the Houston County Administrative Building. Mr. Covert?
Thank you, sir. As you gentlemen may recall, the initial resolution for this project was capped at $5 million. And that was because of other anticipated projects for use of revenue replacement funds would have absorbed all of the available funds at the time. But as it turned out, one of those projects was bid under what was anticipated. So there's a little bit more available revenue replacement funds. This project came in right on budget and actually on time, a little ahead of time. And so I request that the commission consider allocating additional revenue replacement funds to cover the full amount of this project rather than use general fund money.
Any questions on this item?
No, sir.
I will say I talked to someone as recently as yesterday, and they talked about what a great job the contractor had done and how great the building looks, and it does look a whole lot better. Any objection to placing this item on the agenda for Monday?
No objection.
Item number 7 is a request to award bid for uniforms to lowest bidder meeting specs. Major Rafferty. Sort of is what it is. Not sure if there's any questions on this item or not.
No.
You can make a statement if you'd like.
We bid out,
Got to touch that button. I'm sorry.
thought it was on. Okay. We bid out the uniform bid, which is not just the uniforms, it's vests, other equipment that we utilize at the sheriff's office. We sent it out to 4 vendors. We went through them, viewed them, matched them, cross-referenced them. We're requesting to go with Gauls. They meet all the criteria and the bid specs for our needs out of the 4 that turned in.
Okay. Any questions on this item?
No question.
Any objection to placing this item on the agenda?
No objection.
No objection.
All right. Thank you, Major. Item 8 is a request to approve budget amendment for reimbursement of U.S. Marshal Service overtime grant. Oh, this is Major Rafferty again. I don't think I looked at the amount. How much is this? $42,0292. Okay.
Yes, sir. I believe, I guess, CFO Covert can answer this, that on this, we have 4 different organizations that we receive reimbursement from, that were part of the task force. Or like the traffic grant, that comes from the enterprise. They reimburse our overtime for our deputies that are involved with either they're on a specific task force, which is the U.S. Marshal Task Force, the Drug Task Force, DEA, if we have something going on with them, and then the traffic thing. So every time now when we received a reimbursement from them who is requesting a budget amendment to counter our losses and paying overtime. It's being reimbursed.
This is kind of normal and customary. Any objection to placing this item on the agenda for Monday?
No, Jeff,
Okay,
Thank you.
not with it right now, so Chad.
what was that? Can't hear, I guess. Item number 9 is a request to award bid for dump truck body to lowest bidder meeting specs. Mr. Reader, any comments would you like to get on the record for today?
You're on.
So typically we order our dump truck bodies off the ACCA joint bid, but the company that won that bid is a relatively new company that we're not super familiar with, so we put out a bid ourselves. And we feel the company that got this bid is established and will give us the best return investment
Gotcha.
moving forward.
Okay,
Is it the same money?
It's actually $500 cheaper than what the ACCA joint bid was.
okay.
There we go.
Good. $500 each.
Each.
How many are we?
16.
16, okay. 33,457.
That's just the body, that's not the truck.
Not the truck,
That's not the
yeah.
Chassis. We're ordering we've already ordered the truck and chassis, and then we'll
Yeah.
attach the body.
It'd be nice if that was the truck.
Not quite.
It was 70 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. All right, any questions on this item? All right, any objection to placing this item on the agenda for Monday?
No objection.
Okay. Item number 10 is a request to sell the following items on Gov Deals: miscellaneous office supplies from the probate department, a bush hog from the maintenance department, and assorted rims. Okay, from Road and Bridge. Any questions on this item?
No, sir.
Any objection to placing this item on the agenda for Monday?
No objection.
Is there anything else that the commission needs to consider for Monday? Anything else to be placed on the agenda? All right, there being no further business, entertain a motion to adjourn,
Motion.
and we are adjourned. Thank y'all.